Phase 12. The Devil Made Flesh.
Ea sulu, Plagen, Eo Schubnegarath, Gorgo, Morgo, thousand-faced moon, look favorably upon this sacrifice.
No!
Get your hands off my girl. Jen! We did it, didn't we? We stopped the ceremony. The eclipse is still in motion. Something's still trying to force its way through.
It's too late, Rick.
The sacrifice!
One sacrifice isn't enough to open the gateway. Not one, not 1,000, but 10,000 sacrifices. And you, Rick, you have been the executioner.
No.
I want vengeance for an eternity of agony. I want the corrupted to know that it was me stopped them. To do that, I gotta let him out.
Ah, Splatterhouse, you've shown a commendable awareness of your strengths and weaknesses here. It just used its excellent writing and acting to mask the fact that that plot twist completely invalidated everything up to this moment in the game. All for the sake of having this weird PS2 model be our last boss fight.
Rick, help me!
Jenny, I'm coming.
Please.
We won't be taking on the Corrupted directly at the moment. First we gotta take care of its minions. Gonna use one for the road on this zombie. Has a unique animation, but does very poor damage. There's an alternate use of it though, called the Devil's Symphony, after an uppercut. That's a guaranteed kill. We can use the Psycho Ram, the upgrade to the Ram. Allows it to be charged for a little extra damage. There's one for the road on a Ghast. It's going to prove unimpressive once again, as it failed to kill that Ghast. That took care of it though. And Jennifer's safe. But that set the Corrupted on the warpath. Now he's coming right for us, shedding many more minions along the way. I wonder what this portal over here is for. Nothing, I guess. That's going to prove futile to try and intercept these guys. So as we approach the altar, I'll mention that we are listening to my favorite licensed track in the game, Apocalyptic Havoc by Goat Whore, which features this line. Indeed. Goat Whore was founded by Sammy Duet, who is from the legendary sludge metal band Acid Bath, and he's also an open Satanist, hence that line. Now, awesome music aside, we do have quite the brutal and potentially infuriating stage to deal with here. This basically amounts to a final exam on whether or not we've mastered the highest tier attacks in the game, stuff like the Meat Shot, the Carousel of Doom, and the various splatter moves, which thankfully we have. Master them in spades, I would say. But my first time through the game, I wasn't so lucky. I had spent most of my blood on the various heavy attack upgrades, which prove ultimately useless here because they barely add any damage to the attacks, just higher radius, and they're very slow. You need to be quick. You need to do a lot of damage here. So this was rather frustrating, especially after the horrible demoralization that I went through to finish the mirror boss fight. You can see even going into this under almost ideal circumstances, Jennifer's right on the verge of death. And that mistake there cost me her last sliver of health, so one more hit will take her out. Rarely does this stage amount to such a close call. Thankfully, we're almost done with it. Probably win by attrition at this point. We've got a pretty good backlog of Necro, so we should be able to splatter move our way through these last few guys.
Make 'em suffer!
What you really have to learn to balance here is that the ghasts are considerably faster than the zombies, but the zombies have that uninterruptible counterattack after they get knocked down, which can prove deadly to Jennifer. It does more damage than you'd expect. And Apocalyptic Havoc wrapped up there, which inexplicably leads into Hollow Ground by the Haunted, which we haven't heard since the second boss fight. Almost seems like a mistake, because this is about to have some disturbing echoes of the second boss fight. In that we finish it with a QTE. That's right, our final boss fight of the game amounts to approximately 4 button presses, I think. And then we carve out the beating heart of the Overlord of the Corrupted. Find that it is Legion from Splatterhouse 2.
You can watch stars burn out and civilizations rise and fall. But when that payback finally comes around, there's not a second of all that waiting that ain't been worth it. Hey, what do you think you're doing? We got a deal, remember?
Let me go! It's over! Our deal was to save Jen, and she's safe now!
You sure our deal's over, Rico? You checked on your girl lately?
What are you talking about?
Lenora, my love. At last, you've come back to me. I'm here. Lenora, I've been waiting so long for you, my beloved.
Jen, you okay? Jen?
Rick, darling. It's good to be back.
And so ends Splatterhouse. Not just the 2010 game. Really, that was the end of the entire franchise, most likely. This game was a horrible failure and complete embarrassment for Namco, and they've kind of buried it since 2010. There's a pretty good chance we'll never see another game with Splatterhouse in the title, and this of course is the ultimate tragedy for me. I absolutely adore this game, and I've had a really great time showing it off for everybody. Now, there's flaws. Oh boy, are there flaws in this game. I think I should probably start talking about the one that's on everybody's mind at the moment, and that would be the ending we just saw, wherein Jennifer suddenly is turned into the villain of the game. Not really satisfying for anybody, I would think. It is kind of prophesied in Dr. West's journal entries, which you can unlock by getting 100% in the game, I remind you, so you wouldn't know it by completing the game. But I do recommend checking out those journal entries. There's a lot of neat details, although they are kind of undercut by the fact that Dr. West has no actual impact in the game's story. He's trying to conduct that sacrifice of Jennifer, but it turns out he didn't need to. We conducted all the sacrifices. We summoned the corrupted like he wanted, and we, in doing so, brought back Lenora like he wanted. Ah yes, the ultimate irony. This game really thinks irony is the most clever thing in the entire world. At the cost of things making sense, being satisfying, paying off. Nope, just irony. Don't think about it too much. Oh well. Really, that's my biggest complaints about the game, and I'm serious about that. As much as there are glitches and gameplay flaws and such, it's the fact that the plot never pays off. It's got a really great conflict set up between the Mask and Rick. Basically the same conflict that's set up between Dr. Herbert West and Dan Kane in the movie Reanimator. Kind of a brilliant conflict, actually, wherein potentially evil, but better than the alternative force, is attempting to drag a hapless individual away from his girl. And it sort of comes to a head at the exact instant that this game fades to black and rolls credits. It's a pet peeve of mine when a game that barely came out in the first place just can't close the deal and end that story. Ends on a cliffhanger anyway. Because, I mean, what are the odds that this game's ever going to see the conclusion of that cliffhanger? Pretty slim. All hope is not necessarily lost. There is an individual by the name of Kung Fu Man who has salvaged quite a bit of the deleted content in the game. It's all mostly on the disc still. And he's slowly reassembling it into what could be the final game that they were trying to go for here. And if he pulls it off, that would be really impressive. Complete game changer. Some of the stuff he's found is phenomenal, including possibly an alternate ending, which that would be exciting for me, because the ending really did a lot of damage to this game for me. Now, of course, it's no secret that there are also gameplay-related issues with this game, but you've seen them all. I'll let you be the judge, but to me, they've been greatly exaggerated by the gaming media. I found them to be pretty tolerable. For the most part, the worst thing that this game does is be tragically unintuitive. You really don't have any way to understand how you're supposed to play it until you've beaten it. Therefore making the New Game Plus feature pretty excellent, but your first playthrough the game kind of potentially horrible, which is going to sour a lot of opinions, no question. Certainly soured mine until I had beaten it. I mean, the Splatter Slash and Splatter Smash, they don't even have tooltips explaining how to do them. You sort of have to figure it out, reverse engineer it based on their name and their entries in the upgrades menu. Speaking of which, the upgrades menu, many of the people in the thread who had beaten the game themselves didn't realize that you could purchase upgrades non-sequentially, which is going to lead to a non-optimal upgrade path. And you're going to not have all the super moves that you need to finish that last stage we just saw. So those can be serious problems. And there's technical stuff, like the loading screens, which Kung Fu Man is actually doing a pretty good job supposedly clearing those up in the remaster project. Definitely would like to see that. There's the instant death platforming, which was added to the game for some reason. Wasn't in the classic series, and it's a bad idea. That's about it, though, as far as gameplay. Glitches were wildly exaggerated, I think you'll agree. Oh, and here, Fire, Flood, and Plague by High on Fire is credited as Fire, Blood, and Plague. That's a weird mistake. And you've probably noticed our ending theme here, which is Dream Song by ASG. I think a better way the game managed to credit these songs was through this idle conversation between Rick and the Mask right here.
So, who are you listening to at the moment?
Let me think. Lamb of God, Mutant Supremacy, Cavalera Conspiracy, High on Fire, The Accused, The Haunted, ASG, Goat Whore.
Goat Whore? Oh, me, I love Goat Whore. Oh, wait, never mind. You mean the band? Oh, sorry, I thought you meant, never mind.
Yeah, that's how you do it. But they had to give names and whatnot. But that's the end of the game. We're about to be rewarded with our hard-earned achievements, I would say. As well as an exclusive mask and a new difficulty level. Here's our first achievement for beating the game. Our second for beating it on Savage difficulty. And I'm going to cut to the end of my brutal run-through, wherein I got the final remaining achievements. Dreams of the Dead here. That's for beating the game on Brutal. There's one more. The House to the West build for 100% completion of the game. Now those are the only achievements in the game that require a complete second playthrough. So as such, we will be able to see every achievement in the game on screen. The remaining ones will be picked up throughout the arena videos, which I recommend you check out if you want to see those and the unlockable masks and the remaining upgrades. Lots of good stuff there. We've also got Let's Plays of the entire Classic series, which I'd highly recommend checking out. Practically essential viewing, because this game expects you to have encyclopedic knowledge of those classic games. And at this point, I'd just like to thank everybody who contributed all the great posts and fan art in the thread. A lot of that is going to be archived, so check that out. Tons of great information there. And all my co-commentators have done a fantastic job so far. And yeah, I certainly hope you, the viewer, have gotten something from this Let's Play. Either possibly redeem the game a little bit in your eyes, or at least enjoy Jim Cummings' mad ramblings. Thank you all very much for watching.
Jennifer wrestled her friend playfully to the ground in front of the snow cone stand and began licking at the girl's eyeballs, as if they were sugar cubes. Their bodies convulsed and flailed with an almost seizure-like intensity, at times their pale limbs seeming to shift back and forth from one torso to the other. A crowd gathered almost immediately to watch these two girls tie and untie their bodies like a pair of pit vipers. They were confused or concerned or shocked or aroused or all of the above, but no one dared interfere with the performance. Jennifer's long, ashen hair hung down, concealing the girl's face like a curtain around a hospital bed. No one had any idea that the girl's eyes were rolling under her ruby tongue. "This is disgusting. It's pornography," exclaimed a pasty slug-like woman in a fur coat, vanilla ice cream smeared across her double chin like a money shot. Countered a balding professor type in his mid-40s, his left hand stuffed crassly down the front of his pants. No. This is beautiful. This is art.